Hey, how's everything going? So it's time for Q&A and anything goes. So go ahead and unmute yourself or type in. Fire away.
Yeah, go ahead, Linda.
Hey, Linda.
Hey there, everybody. Good to see everyone again. Had a great weekend. That was a wonderful class on
Oh,
Sunday,
good.
that's for sure. So I
Good.
got two questions though
Mhm.
tonight. So I um I have a suspicion that I might be having issues with my thyroid.
Okay,
And so I was wondering, what I'm trying to do is like a preemptive strike here. Like, I don't
sure,
really think there's like a serious problem yet, but one of my blood tests shows a little bit of an elevation in the antibodies, the
sure.
TPO antibodies,
Yeah.
little, and my LDL's just a touch high, and I'm having like these bouts of like fatigue that are just sort of weird, like they just come and go.
Okay.
So anyway, so I'm kind of thinking, let me just do a little preemptive strike here on my thyroid and see if it helps some of the things I'm experiencing.
Okay.
So I did the pranic healing protocol for
Uh-huh.
Hashimoto's
Uh-huh.
and felt like substantially better after doing it.
Oh, that's okay.
I
That
know, right? So
shows you're
that's
on the right track. Yeah.
maybe on the right track, possibly.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if you could offer any suggestions on how to support the thyroid.
Yeah, so I would do two things, and one is definite, and one's like a maybe.
Okay.
And so, like anytime you have an imbalance, either high or low with the thyroid, one of the go-to oils is clove. And you would have to take that internally, like a couple of drops daily. If you felt the need, you could do, easily 2 or 3 times a day, but once to twice daily is plenty. And so that really helps to balance out the thyroid, even in cases where there's autoimmune issues. It actually is very helpful for thyroid function. And then the other thing that I would use that's the maybe is one of the things that I like to do whenever I am treating endocrine issues is treat the whole endocrine system as a whole, just making sure that it's toned and working right, communicating well. And so I always like to kind of complement any sort of gland work with lemon verbena. And lemon verbena is not really super specific to a gland, but it makes sure that the whole endocrine system is working more appropriately. Like it improves communication and it improves overall function. And so, whenever we have a gland issue, sometimes it's not just the gland, but there's a little bit of an imbalance somewhere in the endocrine system and the way that they're communicating. And, specifically here would be the pituitary and the hypothalamus. But the lemon verbena kind of nails that. Other oils that could be supportive of the pituitary would be like black spruce and Naoli, um, Sylvester pine, things like that can be supportive of the pituitary. Frankincense and myrrh is supportive of the hypothalamus, but the issue that you have here is you're not really needing, if the thyroid is a little bit elevated, you're not really needing to jumpstart the glands. You're just needing for there to be like proper function or like regulation.
Right.
And so, like, that's why I kind of steer away from the frankincense and myrrh. I don't think it would cause you harm. I just don't think it would be super helpful. Like,
Okay.
I think the lemon verbena is the way to go, and definitely the clove. But to complement the clove, lemon verbena.
Okay, so the clove internally, is that just like put the drops in water and drink it?
Yeah, yeah. And you definitely want to put them in water with clove because
Yeah,
clove is a little bit hot.
it is. Yeah.
And the same with the lemon verbena, like a
Okay.
couple of drops in water. Like I just took mine right before we came on. The
Okay.
lemon verbena. Like I don't take it every day, but I take it probably 4 or 5 times a week. I kind of rotate between three wise men and lemon verbena. And for me, just I'm not having a thyroid issue. I just want to keep the glands functioning as
Mhm.
properly as possible. And, that's one of the ways to diminish the aging process is to keep the glands functioning as well as possible. And so lots of good reasons to work the glands. And when you work the glands, also the energy centers, the chakras work better.
Mhm. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, one last thing is on the
Mhm.
materialization breath. We
Mhm.
do a lot of that over the weekend and such.
Yes, yes.
Um, you may recall that I'm having a little bit of a challenge here with coyotes and my cat, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I've been shielding the cat and
Yeah, yeah.
everything's well so far. And last night, as I was doing things, I thought, ooh, let's do a little materialization breath work on doing a protection prayer for him.
Mhm.
And I just wondered, is there a particular oil that would be good for that kind of a thing for protection to use during the
For
materialization breath?
protection, for that, I would use hyssop.
Hyssop. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, different oils could be used for that. Uh, but I think hyssop's your best bet. I'm sitting there and I'm going through my little list there. You know, this is an odd one, and you wouldn't even think of it as like something for protection. You don't happen to have fennel, do you?
I don't at the moment, but I
What
could.
about anise? Do you have anise?
Uh-huh, I do. Uh-huh.
Yeah, why don't you try? I mean, you could try hyssop, but actually, I would try anise.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that, you know, the reason being that fennel a little bit more than anise. So maybe do an experiment with anise, and fennel's really inexpensive. So, at some point, but fennel calms, like I'm sitting here just watching this, thinking this out. Fennel calms instinctive responses. So, like when we have a potential thing where we get a little triggered or something where the instinctive responses are a little bit hyper reactive, anise will calm that down. Fennel will calm it down a little bit more. Where anise is a little bit more balancing to the nervous system, the fennel, you know what else could do it too is larch. If you have larch, fennel or larch, or the anise as well. But they temper the instinctive responses, and in a way, that's what you're trying to do with the coyotes. Like you're trying to temper their instinctive response to go after your cat because
Mm,
they just see it as mealtime. Like they're just wanting to mess with the cat or get the cat or whatever. So the fennel, the anise, the hyssop to a certain extent, but also the larch, it's like it tempers that instinctive response where you can maybe break the pattern a little bit easier.
mhm.
I think hyssop will still do it, but I like the fennel and the larch. Like when I look at it, it has a bit more energy to it.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Well, I'll get started with the anise and the hyssop and see if I can get some fennel. So thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, well, I would almost like experiment first with the hyssop and the anise and just see how well it works and if they keeps the coyotes from coming around, and then if so, you can double down with the fennel. But I would see if just that something's happening there. It looks like it will, but you never know.
Right. Well, I'll give it a try. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Barbara, then Channing.
Hey, Miss Barbara.
Hey there. I've been thinking about tapping into the Seasons Angels class with the winter solstice coming up, and I
Yeah.
wondered if you could offer anything in particular, or if I just need to find the workbook and the oil and go with that.
So you want to work the 4 seasons?
Or and should I guess that's part of the question. Is it important to do all of them versus just focusing on one?
Well, they represent a kind of movement. I mean, even though you're in the winter solstice or coming up on the winter solstice, so you could just work that one. But there's something to be said about working all four of them. Maybe work the one by itself and then, winter and then winter solstice. And then, maybe after the first of the year, work all of them, spring, summer, winter, or spring, summer, autumn, and fall, winter. Just because it represents like stages of movement of like light or energy. And
Right.
so, we could juice that up a bit. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I'm not even sure I know where the workbook is. It just occurred to me this
Yeah, we
afternoon.
could get you the
Play with it.
workbook again. Yeah. Is that one that I did a second version on? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, like I'd say maybe do the second version of that. Just pull out the section on winter and the winter solstice and do that. Can we get her the workbook if
Yeah.
you can't find it? Yeah, well, we're
I'll
gonna
check and see if I have it.
yeah, we'll email you the workbook. Yeah. But that's what I would do. And
So
then maybe after the beginning of the year, just fire through and do the seasons and then the equinox and solstices.
thank you.
Yeah. Let me know how that goes.
I will.
And then go ahead, Christina.
Hey, Chan,
Hi there.
how's life in your world?
Well, I had a big presentation this morning and I can't tell if it went well or not, but my neck is super, like I feel the stress of it all, like the after. But I wanted you to see if there was anything there. I've been inhaling etheric cords, but it was a pretty large meeting.
Like how large? How many people?
The whole org, but my
Oh.
my skip level sent me a message afterwards and said, great job. I can't remember what he said, but he basically said, well delivered. But I don't know why I'm not getting a sense that I did a good job. You know the person I'm talking about. He
Yeah.
sent a message and he's like, great delivery, blah, blah, but I don't know, something feels off.
I would inhale some sage and maybe like a salt bath or salt scrub or something with some sage as well. Or a body tonic, something.
Which body tonic do you
Sage,
suggest?
like any of the sages.
I don't have a sage body tonic, but I have a
Do
lot
you
of
have
other.
can you do a salt bath?
No, I can't. Not now,
Um,
unfortunately.
Just get some sage on your body, like put some sage on your feet and rub a little bit on your chest, your abdomen, a little bit on your tailbone, a little bit.
Doesn't something feel sticky, Greg?
Yeah, like even though everybody said nice things, it's that whole displacement thing when people have different ideas or it might mean different work or a change of opinion and so there's the face of what happens and then there's the grumblings as you walk away from the meeting. I think that's what you're feeling a little bit. It's not bad. It's just
Wear and tear.
any time that you're not doing like the status quo, you're going to get pushback. And I would say, it's kind of like what we were talking about the other day. Like sometimes when there's not pushback and not a little bit of grinding on me, I'm like, I might be a little offended because that means I wasn't cutting edge enough. I laugh and joke because I don't want people to grind on me, but at the same time, like pushing the envelope, that's the byproduct of it. And so I wouldn't read a lot into it.
What's so weird is all this stuff feels pretty straightforward to me. I don't know why there's resistance. It's not like we're doing like we're building a rocket here. It just seems so odd to
yeah.
me. That's all. And maybe
But
that's
that's also, like we kind of joked the other day, that's also the assumption that people know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like they don't always have a grasp of the task at hand or what's happening. They understand like bits and pieces of it, but they don't see how it goes together. And those are usually more detail oriented people, but um seeing how it all goes together and what needs to be done is strategic thinking, and not everybody has that. Like you guys are talking about the same thing, but you're talking about what colors things are, and they're talking about how many parts there are. It's like that. Like, yes, you're speaking English, but you're not speaking about the same thing. To you, it seems that way, but to them, I don't know that they really grasp what you're even presenting.
so what do I do? Do I
You say
start
it over and over.
taking
You keep
parts?
saying, no, you say it over and over again, and you stay uh stay on message, and then let time unwind what you're saying. Because it's like a lot of times it's not so much that you're not saying the right thing, they need to hear the right thing, usually multiple times,
Mhm.
and they need time to process it. It's almost like they have to have like experiences where they start getting it. So, I remember on this one project, I probably gave uh like a meeting, speech, whatever, lecture, instructions, whatever you want to call it. I'm not joking. Probably 20 times. Might have been 25 times. And everybody was like, yeah, I think I kind of get it. And like, I did it like as methodical and consistent as I could. And even after that, people weren't getting it. But when I laid out the budget and the allocation of resources, and this is what we're doing and why, people started to get it. Like in that one time. So even that, had I not talked it out a whole bunch when I laid out the budget for the project, um, it probably still wouldn't have been absorbed. So there was the whole talking, then there was the budget, and then as we implemented things off of the strategy, people really started to get it when they could see it in motion. But not everybody has the ability to like visualize it or strategically think it out or to see a timeline, even if the timeline's not accurate, which is most times. It's still like you're shooting for like, okay, like how we were just talking with Barbara, this is the spring, this is the summer of the project, this is the fall, this is the winter. It might not go down every 30 days or something like that, but there's like segments that are very defined, and not everybody gets that. They just don't.
Yeah,
Y- you know
if it wasn't for that coworker whose name is
yeah, I know you're
associated with an emotion,
right.
I seriously would think something is wrong with me. But it's because she and
Yeah,
like she
yeah,
seems to get it. Like we're definitely very much on the same page, and she's sharing with me things that she has thought about also on the same lines. But for some reason, I don't know, like it's kind of strange to me.
Well, you gotta think too, like there's always the duality of something where people get pieces of it and then they don't get it. And they could be fighting you, but totally on board. Like both of those things can exist. And more people are contrary than we realize. And they're not even really doing it on purpose. They just like the more the drive of the lower drive, you know, you're driven more by the lower nature, and it's the effects of the elements, right? And the elements by their nature oppose things. That's just what they do. It's like it's how things are created is through opposition, through the conflict. And so it takes a refinement of emotion and then mental faculties to really like you're overriding or like tempering those components, because they still are in play. They just don't play out automatically. Like, you know, you almost are calling them up rather than just reacting to them. And I wouldn't look at opposition as being somebody necessarily disagreeing with you. They just, sometimes that's just their drive. Sometimes that's their creative process, is just to get into conflicts. Because if they can't think it out and they can't resolve it, it's almost like strategic thinking is preventative of like potential conflicts, because you're resolving it before it's, you know, really kind of come to a head. When people don't have strategical thinking, they go from fire to fire, just putting out fires. And a few of the people that we're talking about want to be firemen when they grow up.
I mean, just hearing you say it helps just put everything in
Yeah.
perspective, but the
You got to
real
keep
part-
reminding yourself, because it's hard in the moment. It's really super hard in the moment,
Mhm.
you know. Because the thing too is that there's these people can be very intelligent, but they're intelligent in different areas. They don't always have this dynamic. You know, Samantha and I were just talking about this the other night, you know, different situation. And, you know, we were talking about this one situation, and it doesn't really involve us, but we were just kind of watching something, and some friends, and constancy of aim and effort is one of the hardest things for people to cultivate. And it usually only happens when you're in a situation, be it a family or a job or something, where you have to produce results over and over again, like just almost to the point where it gets like mindless, like you can't really like think about it very much. And that starts to really refine constancy of aim and effort. And in that, I would say like producing a result. And you know, that's okay. Like not everybody has to have that um ability, but at the same time, not a lot of people have that ability. Like even in the workplace, like it's constancy of aim and effort is not easily come by. It is one of the harder things to cultivate. And so, you know, I would say when I was younger, like I had areas where I had constancy of aim and effort, and then I had areas where I could procrastinate like nobody's business, like nobody's business. And over a period of time, having responsibility like made me like a better person. Like it made me work through my shortcomings in that area. And some people have a harder time like integrating that. Like it's kind of weird, but they almost like fight it too much. And I don't know. That's why, like, you know, we always like talk about like service or doing something that's like out for us, something outside yourself. Like a good example is parenting. Like you raise a child, you're doing so much for something outside of yourself, and you know that really refines that component, but it's usually not a natural innate ability. And so when you see that in the workplace, it's not going to be just like, oh, they need to pay attention more, they need to change their mind. They would literally have to train themselves for quite a while and be willing to make the change. Because I think that's, I can say this for myself. I didn't start getting better there until I wanted to start getting better there. Until I didn't, like, before I was like, yeah, I want to get better here. I had a responsibility and I just didn't meet the demand. So I was coming up short a lot. And so, it was at one point where I was like, this is BS. I got to pull my head out of my butt. Like, this is, and that changed. But
Yeah,
I
now
don't-
I'm starting to
don't
think my head
know-
is up my butt.
no, you don't have that issue. You don't have that issue. The people around you have that issue, but you don't really have that issue. In fact, I would say a little bit of the issue is you're a little too much constancy of aim and effort for them. And so,
Oh, Greg,
you have to play a little bit of politics and just, bring everybody along, try not to rile people up, remember, get acclimated in some of those situations, and then it'll be fine. In a way, it's a weird thing, like being able to see that how the time unfolds the thing. When you start presenting, you can see how they're not getting it, or they're not aware, and you can start fine tuning yourself because you're trying to bring something forth, right? You're trying to, like, give birth to something. And sometimes even our approach to what it is needs to be adjusted. Just like they don't get it, we still are needing to make adjustments. And sometimes it's in just how it gets presented, or the language, or the things that are being said to motivate. And so in that, like, you can start playing with the language, the presentation, like what's motivating and what's this and what's that. And then you can fine tune what your process is going to be to bring whatever forth you're bringing forth. But it's like it buys you time to work on your presentation routine and the messaging that you're going to be putting forward to bring it forth, if that makes sense.
yep, very clear.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that over the weekend in our class,
Mhm.
I can't remember if it was Saturday or Sunday. The one that had the heavy heart in it.
Oh, that's Uncle Bob. Yeah, that's
Oh,
not-
that's right. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that seems like, yes. So in the Uncle Bob class, learning about toxic stress
Mhm.
was the word that comes to mind was enlightening. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that there was different qualities of
Yeah,
stress.
there's different
but
kinds
it
of,
became-
well, even within just normal stress, there's different kinds of stresses. Like you have a hip misalignment, your body is generating stress, but I would call that mechanical stress, where, you getting pushed out of a meeting is the stress of displacement. Even like you holding your mouse and doing all the things, and you're holding your arm in a fixed position, that generates, on one level, you could say, a mechanical stress, but it's also like the stress of fixation. Like even when we're stuck in a holding pattern in things in our life, even that generates a stress. And then, when you shift, again, that's displacement though.
Mm.
But yeah, toxic stress is just when, man, it's not that it's traumatic, it's just it changes your physiology. It just, you start getting tired easier, you start getting, stress response, the startle response, everything starts getting too easily agitated, and there's no traumatic stress where you had some incident happen, or there was injury, or some big event. It's just these little minor, it's not really PTSD, but it's yeah, it really can change the physiology. Like just like sometimes you'll see somebody and then like in a short amount of time their hair goes white, or their some feature of them changes. A lot of times that's toxic stress issue. I had one lady that her hair went white in a matter of like 3 or 4 weeks. Like it was like dark with just a little bit of white in it. And she was meditating out in a park, and some kids came over and pushed her over. And it freaked, she was in a deep space, and it kind of freaked her out so bad. Like within a short amount of time, her hair went completely white. And she'd gone and seen a couple people because she had some injuries, and she ended up, coming to me, and I corrected the injuries. And then I just suggested that we do some deeper, like, there's a reason she was meditating in a park. Like, stress was already very high for her. So it was like very easy to get pushed over, not just physically, but metaphorically as well. And we did a bunch of work on toxic stress, and I did a little cranial manipulation. Her hair turned dark again, like within a couple of weeks. Like it's like that crazy how it was longer than a few weeks, but it turned dark very quickly. She had very short hair.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do the heavy-hearted section again, and then I'm
Yeah.
just going to like drench myself in sage. Anything else you suggest?
Sage is probably your best bet, because there's a little bit of projections towards you.
There's a
that's
little
what
bit of what?
Projections.
Towards
That's why I
me?
was yeah,
What the
that's why I
hell?
was telling you with the sage and the salt bath.
Mm.
Maybe burn some incense too. That'd be good.
Which one?
If you have sage, if not, something cleansing. Like, what do you
I
got?
have Blue Mountain Sage.
Perfect. That's it. That's literally the top choice you could have.
Yay. Thank you so much, Greg.
Yeah,
This is
and
so
let me know.
helpful as always.
And then go ahead, Christina, then Anne.
Hey, Christina.
Hi, Greg. How are you?
Hey.
So I have a kitty client who she gets respiratory distress at night. And so I remember you talking about hyssop for respiratory issues, but for humans, would that work for animals if the owner diffuse it or something like that?
Honestly, I would probably do basil.
Basil?
Like my basil is kind of a go-to thing with animals, and it would have an impact on tension in the body. It would open up the lungs, and it would reduce, we don't think of animals as having stress, but they do have stress. And so it would just help kind of clean all of that up.
Okay.
Yeah. Do we know, does she have asthma, or she's just having respiratory distress at night?
I don't know. I know she has a lot of tumors. I don't
Yeah,
know if the
I
tumor
definitely
has
would do
anything
basil
to do.
now. I definitely would do basil now. Like, yeah,
Okay.
that would be my go-to thing.
So she can diffuse it at night?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, okay, so coriander, I know you mentioned before for heavy metals,
Uh-huh.
and I tried to find something on your blog about corianders, but I couldn't find anything.
On the blogs, I probably haven't talked about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on my newsletter and I wanted to introduce that for the foot bath service.
Yeah. For people, I would say 1 to 3 drops taken internally. For an animal,
No, this would be for people.
oh, people, yeah, 1 to 3 drops in water taken internally, daily.
Okay. Oh, I just wanted to do a little educational piece on coriander. So I don't know if is there anything you want to add about the oil itself or the plant or something like that?
I'll try to go through my encyclopedia stuff and pull something up from coriander. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that. Thank you
Yeah, you're
very
so
much.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
Let me see what I got actually. Yeah, I'll have to write it up. I don't even have anything written. It's in my rough notes.
Okay. That's cool. Thank you.
When do you need it by?
The end of the month?
Oh yeah, that would be
Because
easy.
I'm working on.
I was gonna say
working
if
on
you
it.
could give me 24 hours, because I'm in the middle of a project, but
Oh, yeah. That's, yeah.
yeah, I can do it like over the weekend or something.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
And happy birthday.
Thank you. You're so
Merry Christmas.
And go ahead, Anne, and then we have a couple chat questions.
And
Hi, thank you for last weekend. It was wonderful.
oh good, I'm so glad you enjoyed.
Uncle Bob was so important, and I'm wondering, maybe you covered this, but how can I use that in thinking about world leaders and our national leaders that just
I
get me
would use
all.
the last piece, the Uncle Bob part, and you
Okay,
could just kind of sit and you could do that protocol, but you could also sit and think about them as you inhale the Uncle Bob, and that should be helpful.
because I
It's not
get
going to
so
completely
worked
resolve the
up.
problem, but make it a little bit more bearable.
Okay, I
You
need
know what I mean?
that.
Yeah,
I need it.
yeah.
Thank you.
Like one of the things that you, you could say that we're really experiencing the change of an age,
Oh, yeah,
like the thing with the Mayan calendar ending in 2012. If you make all the adjustments with how the calendars have all gotten adjusted, that calendar really ended, according to a good friend of ours who was like really studied all this stuff. He said that the calendar really ended in 2020, because we've adjusted our calendar. So the translation of 2012 was a little bit different, because of the adjustments to the calendar that we currently use. And over the centuries. And if you look at it, change is common, whether we like it or not. And it's not always pretty, and it's not always because we're trying to do good. Sometimes it's because, as a person, we take so many gut punches, but even as a country or as the world, takes a bunch of gut punches, and then finally we're gonna go, oh, okay, we gotta get serious about this. And I find that working like the blend assemblage point or aloes or cistus, white spruce, galbanum, even a little bit of myrrh, any of those helps with the changes and the shifts that come with the age. Did you need me to repeat something?
Well, I was gonna try to write them and type them, and right when I went to press, I made them all disappear.
Oh.
It's okay.
So assemblage point,
Yeah.
aloes,
Okay.
cistus, white spruce, galbanum,
And then,
and
right,
myrrh. Yeah. Right,
And how would,
even frankincense too. Wear it, inhale it, bask with it. You know, go to town. Like you know, sometimes I do very specific protocols, and um, uh, sometimes I just wear it. And you know, there's times when I'm really wanting to work something, I'll even wear one of the oils in like a little medicine bag where it might not be smelling it, but the energy of the plant is like on the heart, or you know,
oh,
keep it in your pocket or something. You know, that has a medicinal quality to it. And so any version of that.
recently Cistus has just smelled so good.
Cistus is amazing. Oh my God. I just made us like person, like you know, we make like little batches of personal incense, and I just made a bunch of Cistus incense to burn at the house. And we're gonna use it in ceremony because like soon as we start burning it, like I was like you know, I was saying to Samantha, how you doing? She's like, I'm doing good, but I'm a little heady. I'm starting to space out, you know, because that's what Cistus does. And you know, the thing that's nice about Cistus is it harmonizes the two sides of the brain, so you have expansion of awareness to a higher degree. But it's also very like it's not, I wouldn't say activating, but I would say it's developing for the back heart. Like it makes the back heart like unfold and like function better. But you know, sometimes with an activation it gets bigger and then it kind of goes back, where the cystis, if you work the back heart for a while, it will start functioning better, and it just kind of stays. And cystis actually is very good for that. And so
I
just
don't understand the back heart.
yeah, so the front heart is here in the chest,
Right,
and it's more about how like you're feeling in the moment and now and everything, and then it's how we integrate things. The back heart is between the shoulder blades,
right.
and so that tends to be like things that uh we've already integrated and we're processing. It's like transmuting like lower emotions, transmuting issues like, you know, say you have a repetitive pattern in some situation that you're trying to break out of. Part of how you break out of it is actually through the back heart. And even when the energy of the heart moves up to the crown, it actually does it through the back heart. Like the front heart will get activated, but then it moves to the back, and then from the back it moves up through the vagus, you know, channels associated with the vagus nerve up into the crown. And so the back heart is more of a purifying effect. Like when you feel sadness and grief, you're feeling it more in the back heart than in the front heart. Like the front heart will feel the initial feeling, and then the back heart really kind of feels it deeply, you know. But at first, like that first, like, oh, you know, oh, a loved one. But really, if you look at, like, if you were go through and you were to measure like how much you love somebody, it wouldn't be the front heart, it would actually be the back heart. The back heart is where you would measure it. And so things that are deep-seated, like self-imposed boundaries or walls, or even things that how we're, like you're saying, like processing the things going on in the world, like our ability to adapt and change is more about the back heart than it is about the front heart. Like the back heart is the one that kind of processes it and moves it. It's like the front heart, if you think about it, is like the thing that senses and feels things, and then the back heart does all the heavy lifting, if that makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense. Right now, my sister is really not able to remember which end of the phone to talk into.
Yeah.
And my first husband walked at midnight. He was out in California at a home, but he walked from there at midnight up to the 7th floor of a building. And it's just like my heart is so heavy with these two people I love, but they're just losing it, and I can't do a thing.
Mm. Yeah, that is a tough one. Let me sit with that for a minute and let me just think about that for. You know what I would probably use for that is myrrh. I would use
Okay.
myrrh. Yeah, I would inhale myrrh and even a few drops on the wrist or a few drops internally, but inhale it or wear it a lot or take, 2, 3 drops even multiple times a day. Because it's like you said, there is watching and being patient and having to bear witness for something. But sometimes the things we need to watch are a little bit painful to watch. And the myrrh helps quite a bit for that. My experience is it helps quite a bit for that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
I'm almost in tears now.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
hear you,
There's just
Yeah.
so much craziness going on
Yeah.
locally, internationally, everywhere.
Well, I don't even know what to say about it. Yeah. Feels like everything's in a blender.
Yeah, and I am so
Mm.
old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Well, let me know how that works. I think that should help you though.
Thank you.
And
God bless.
then, thank you. And then there's a couple questions in chat as well, and feel free to raise your hands, guys, or type in the chat. Are you doing something for winter solstice? And
Yeah, we are doing I can't remember
it's
what time.
for Astara.
Yeah, we're doing it with Astara. So Thursday night. And I want to say it's 8 Central Time, 6 Pacific Time.
That's exactly correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we can provide, do we have a link yet?
Yeah, there's a link so you can sign up. I'll put the
Yeah.
link in. I forgot to put it in the newsletter
Yeah.
this week, guys. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
but we are doing a little solstice ceremony.
And I'm putting the link in there in the chat. So, and you can always go to astara.org for that as
Yeah.
well. And then the other question is, will you talk about the upcoming Revitalize class at the end of the year?
Oh, yeah. So, it's we're doing a 1-day free class on the Saturday before New Year's. And, we want to do things to kind of like help you, achieve your goals in the new year, get a fire lit under you for something you want to do that you've been putting off, or if you're trying to let go of something. And so what I'm doing is we did the materialization breath over the weekend, like with prayers and everything, but what I'm doing is I'm utilizing the materialization breath, but I'm giving you specific oils to use for different kinds of healing, for spiritual practice, for prayer, for materializing, working your goal, just to focus on light, working with angels. And then there's little adjustments depending on the topic. But one of the things that I'm also doing is so like say you're wanting to do just general healing for yourself, right? So there's oils to go to for that. And then you think, well, I would like to do maybe some healing for a friend or for my mother, or whatever it is. So there's oils that you would use for doing healing on other people. And, we list the processes of how go through and how to do it. But within that, what I'm also doing, which I haven't done before, is like each step, like if we're working on materialization breath for abandonment, I'm also referencing the past classes that we've done stuff in, so that, like, say we're doing abandonment, and I was like, okay, so if you want to work this deeper, go to this segment in the body wisdom class, go to this class, the body mapping class, will reference some of your past classes, so that if you've taken that class, you can go through and then do something specific for whatever that is. So it makes it interactive with some of the past classes, and makes it easy for you to do something right there. But if you want to take it deeper, you can go pull out a past class and then go, okay, I'm working abandonment, so I'm doing these segments out of these 3 different little classes to deepen that process. And then if you haven't had those classes, there's still a practice that's there for you that is still a solid piece of information. It's just like how we did the classes over the weekend. There's plenty of work to be done, but I'm also trying to give you a reference material so you can go pull up old classes and then apply it for that specific thing. And so yeah, it's kind of a new process that I've been wanting to put forward. So we'll have like links to some of the other classes if you've had them, and you can go and do like, just do a bread and butter approach to the process with the materialization breath. But if you want to go and work it deeper, it's other classes that you can reference, and it's almost like a guide of go back and work these things. And so it should make it interactive with some of the stuff that you've already been doing. So yeah. And I mean, we're covering a whole bunch of things, not just like, healing, spiritual practice, prayer, working with angels, working your astrological sign, working planetary energies. I'm covering a lot of ground with that. And then there's different kinds of accord work, connections with other people. Some of it we've already kind of talked about, but we'll expand on it. And then there's things that we haven't done and haven't talked about. So I made it specific, not just between you and a person, but you and a bunch of past events, and then variations and ways to unwind. If it's a situation, a past event, a memory, a relationship, stuff with family. There's variations in there.
Someone goes, it's only a 1 day?
I know, huh? Yeah. Like already, like I'm not done compiling the book. And I don't know that with the information I'm going to give you that we could even cover it in 2 days. But like it's almost like a reference guide for you guys, to like a recipe book where you can just flip through and go, oh, here it is. Like I had a whole little section that was strategic or therapeutic strategies. And I was like, this is a whole weekend too. Like, I don't know. We'll just do that one on a different free weekend. But that is things that can stand on their own. Like dealing with body tension, that would be one that's in there. We're dealing with the assemblage point, certain kinds of working the energy body in particular ways. Yeah, but we'll unwind that at some point, probably in January.
I just need to hop in here, Greg, and say you are so amazing and so generous, and
Oh,
just
you're
so
so
grateful
sweet.
for you.
Yeah. Which part were you referencing? The stuff that we were talking about doing, or?
All of it.
Oh, you're so sweet.
What you offer us is just so amazing.
Yeah, well, I definitely want to step up, like how, like when we're working a particular thing, the idea of being able to reference past classes. So you don't have to figure it out, but you can go through and go, oh, if I'm working this topic, I can go back and work this segment in this book and this segment in that, like kind of pull it together so it's interactive with the body of work. That, and if you haven't had it, no big deal. There's something presented there. But if you want to take it deeper and draw upon a past class, it's going to be available. So I'm going to make it as easy as possible over the next several months. The classes being presented, I'm going to keep embedding that in. We're trying to figure out like doing like hyperlinks with it, but it's going to be hard because not everybody's had the classes, and so we're figuring it out. But this first version, I'm pretty happy with.
Mhm.
Like, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I'm-
So I just want to jump in and be like, he's not only saying this class, he's literally saying specific segments from the class.
From each class, yeah.
Yeah.
So like it might go do the Foundation for Mystical Healing class, but segment 3, and then go to the 8 materializations of Metatron, segment 1 and 2, and it's like that.
Yes, that is particularly fabulous. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. First couple of times it'll be a little tedious because I'm establishing the template, but once I got the template down, it'll be easier to write.
I just want to reinforce Barbara's, what she said, ditto, 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 ditto.
Oh,
Great.
you're so sweet. Thank
You
you.
are offering us so much and taking us so far, and I'm so grateful for everything.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Thank you.
Really, thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. And evidently happy birthday is in order. I
Oh,
didn't-
thank you. I'm getting older and older. Yeah, because I teach in a little bit different style, and so it's always hard to go, wait, what did we just do? And part of that is we're working things in a particular like motion, but still I want to be able to give you the ability to look back, not have to figure it out, and just be able to look back and go, oh, I can pull it from these things. And so it's almost like this big like loop where you just kind of can keep looking back and coming back forward. Yeah, so will be easier if you've kept things in your kits, but even not, like you can still find the oils and yeah, it's very doable. However you store your oils. Yeah.
Great. Robert just sent me a great note. I'll just give you guys a teaser. This is like months in the works, but we are revamping the website. It's gonna be even better. But once we get this set up right, the links to the booklets will even go right to the website. And if you've already paid for a class, we'll have you linked to that class already, so you'll be able to link right to the
Yeah.
class and everything.
We're trying to make the booklets and past booklets and the website like all interactive, so that like if something comes up, you can just hit like a link in the booklet and it takes you to whatever. We're having to change where our website is hosted or whatever. We have to change the platform.
Yeah.
We're having to revamp a lot of the website, but we're trying to make this like basically a booklet is an interactive experience with like the website and YouTube, and like some of it's going to be available just on the website. So it's going to take us a few months to work out the details and implement it, because our team's pretty small, but they're all rock stars, but it's small. But we've been talking about it for a while, and now we're implementing. So it's going to be very interesting. Like I want to make it as easy as possible for you guys just to be able to jump in and not always be having to scramble around to find information or a booklet or something. And so, Robert and Samantha have been working very hard to pull this together, and Even the work that we did with working with the human design stuff, setting up like this little journey, like in human design, we're going to be doing that for like new people and then for the advanced students and everything, where these like little journeys that you go through to figure things out and figure out what you need to work, like these little like interactive processes. And so like if you have pain, where you can get on and just follow this little journey and figure out, oh, these are the things I can like work and think about or address. And so it just takes a little bit of time.
Lots of thank you, Gregs, for everything you do. You're getting younger and younger. And
I
then
almost believe you.
one of my favorites, I want an essential oil brain funnel to be able to pour it in.
Right, there you go. Brain funnel.
A quick question.
Yes.
Would there be any prep for Solstice Astara event?
No. I mean, if you want to do a little mantra work, a little meditation, or a little prayer, over the next couple of days, but I'll be prepping you guys like at the beginning of the session. So, yeah, yeah, we're not going to be on site this time, but we'll still be zooming, but we'll be zooming from here. So,
The funnel person? It will go with the hole in my head. So funny. Let me see if I missed any questions. Thank you guys for your support.
Yeah, thank
For
you.
loving Greg and all that.
And we love you too, Sammy.
Thank you. I was just gonna say that too. Yes.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I'll third that.
Thank you guys.
I mean, her and Robert work on that website like all the time.
Another person said second on the coriander when you get the info, so
Yeah,
I'll email you guys that.
Yeah, I have
and
to-
maybe if we get any little extra details, I could even throw it in the newsletter or something for you
Yeah,
guys.
I have to clean it up. Like I have like levels of notes, and yeah, my rough notes would make no sense to anybody. So like I have to kind of go through and translate and then drop it in. So sorry. Otherwise I just drop it and give it to you, but there's a lot of Greg slang in there for things that wouldn't make sense to anybody but Greg. And even then sometimes I don't remember.
And can we give kudos to Robert too? Because if he's
Yeah,
still
well, he's
like,
amazing.
oh my God, that's amazing. And thank you, Robert, for all of the notes you always give us in the chat. You're amazing too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
That, and he's always correcting things on the website and finding little problems before they happen. And
Oh my
yeah.
God, a shout out for Letty too.
yeah, Letty's been cleaning up my thoughts for a very long time. Yeah, she makes it very legible. Yeah, some would say she's a miracle worker.
I know I couldn't do what Letty does.
Yeah. It's like I send my notes and go, Letty, lay hands on these notes, make them legible. She pulls it out every time.
You definitely have the dream team there.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah. So anybody else? Should we jump into a process?
I think we just jumped into a process unless we want to just keep telling each other how much we love each other.
Yeah.
But I think the process.
It is
sounds good.
Christmas.
Solstice, Christmas-ish.
I was going to do.
Someone's saying if you could pick a fancy oil.
You got it. Well, what I could do is we could do a little bit out of okay, I know what we'll do. Because we have a decent amount of time. Okay. Okay, we are going to get let's pull out tea tree, eucalyptus, radiata, eucalyptus polybroct, basil, green healer. If you don't have those, then maybe marjoram or hyssop. We could do it here, we could do it in Oklahoma. Maybe we'll do. I don't know why these iPads don't talk to each other. Like they're brother and sister or something. Okay. Now I got my feet under me. All right. So I know we did a little bit of this in the esoteric meeting, red and green, but we're going to do a little bit more of it. And so you pulled out tea tree, eucalyptus, radiata, polybroct, basil, or green healer. And here we want to clean up the arms and legs. And the reason being that the more that you clean up the arms and legs, the more you potentially have the ability to be more present, but you also have the ability to transmute instinctive responses and lower emotions, lower grosser energies. And you could say, in a way, by cleaning up in the arms and legs, as weird as this sounds, it refines what you perceive. And it starts to provide like differentiation in the things that you see. A lot of what we call the ego is not up in our brain or in our head. It's actually in our bones, in the bone marrow. And cleaning up the arms and legs refines the intellect, it refines the mind, refines cognitive functions. It makes you significantly more cognitive. And so you could say, in a way, it helps you to think on your feet better and adjust in movement. You know, when you're taking action and you're like having to adjust without really thinking things out too much. That's more in the intuitive side of the mind, and it refines this part. And so you can't do too much of this. I mean, I do this literally every day, you know, sometimes multiple times a day. Like today, I've only done it once, but I did it right when I got up this morning. And so you have your tea tree, Eucalyptus radiata, polybroch, basil, green healer. One that you could put here that I didn't, I should maybe add that to my notes, sandalwood. We do sandalwood. Okay, so your first thing is you want to stimulate the function of the back heart, right? So we're going to begin inhaling with your awareness on the back heart, the area between your shoulder blades. Long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the back heart. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on the back heart. Mhm. Yeah. And then pause and be still. Okay, just let go. You're letting go for a moment. Let your body acclimate. And then start inhaling again. Your awareness is still on the back heart. And then just pause and let go. Mhm. Mhm. Inhale again. Your awareness is on the back heart. Mhm. Mhm. Samantha said, like doing this, it feels like the back heart's being scrubbed clean. And awareness on the back heart. Now move your awareness to the armpits. In the elbows. The wrists. The palms of your hands. And then your hips. Your awareness is on your hips. Is that training? Okay, yeah. The knees. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you know, how we're talking about like going deeper on something. I could take the first segment from the red and green class and spend 2 days talking about it. I'm not joking. Like it's, yeah, add a little bit here and there and experiment with things and easily could be 2 days. So like topics that we want to go deep on, like we're going to go deep on the materialization breath for that class on the 30th and a little bit deeper on chords and things like that. But, you know, we're going to make it more interactive for you guys so you can have like guided experiments and things. So our knees go to the ankles. Awareness is on the soles of the feet. The bottom of the tailbone. And in the area between your eyebrows, the ajna. And then just be still. Let everything go. Just be still. Okay, begin inhaling again. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the soles of your feet. Move your awareness to the low back area opposite the navel, the backside of the navel, known as the Mingmen. Move your awareness to the back heart. And move your awareness to the crown, the top of your head. And just be still. Now, think of something that's going on in your world. Doesn't necessarily have to be bad. Could be in process, could be neutral, could be a little good, a little bad, a little stressful, a little difficult, a little annoying, whatever it is. Whatever it is, observe that situation. And as you observe the situation, your awareness is on your front heart, the center of your chest. You can inhale oil if you want, or you can just observe, either way. Keep observing just one situation. No, keep observing that situation, but your awareness is on the back heart. You're still observing, your awareness is on the back heart. Okay, let the inhalation go, let everything go, let the observation go. Just be still for begin inhaling again. Your awareness is on the back heart. You're not thinking about anything. You're just putting your awareness on the back heart. Your awareness is on the armpits. The elbows? The wrist. Your awareness is on the wrist. Mhm. The palms of your hands. The hips. Awareness is on the hips. The knees. Mm, yeah, the ankles. The soles of your feet. The bottom of the tailbone. The area between your eyebrows. Clean the eyebrows. Nice, long, slow, deep breath. Let go. Begin inhaling again. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. The low back area, opposite the navel. Back heart. And the crown. Okay. Let's just let go for a moment. Here are some choices. We'll keep them really simple, like hyssop, any form of spruce, cistus, or artemisia, or mugwort. you need more choices, there's more choices, but I just will keep it real simple. Okay, so now we're gonna do the materialization breath, and if you weren't there this weekend, let's just revisit where you take the bottle, you hold it to your chest, head goes down, inhale, hold your breath, head up, exhale when the head is up, down, inhale, hold your breath, up, exhale. So an inhalation and exhalation is one breathing cycle. We're going to do 8 or 9 breathing cycles. Okay, so chin down, inhale, hold your breath, head up, exhale. Down, inhale, 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 up, exhale. Just be still for a moment. Reflect on whatever it was that we started reflecting on, whatever your situation, good, bad, neutral, active, whatever it is. Let it go, bottle to your chest, chin down. 8 or 9 of the materialization breaths. Inhale, hold your breath, head up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Down, inhale, up, exhale. Do 4 or 5 more on your own. You're observing that situation again. Your awareness is on your heart. Keep observing. And now your awareness is on the back heart. And just let it go for a moment. Pick up your first oil that you used. The tea tree, the eucalyptus radiata, the polybroct, the basil, the green healer, whatever you were using. Inhaling on the back heart. The armpits. You're inhaling on the armpits. The elbows. The wrists. Palms of your hands. Awareness is on the palms of your hands. Your hips. Your awareness is on the hips. Your knees. Your ankles. The soles of your feet. Your bottom of your tailbone, your basic chakra. And between your eyebrows. Between your eyebrows. And then just be still. How's this feeling, by the way? Like you feel mellow but clear. Yeah. Begin inhaling again. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. That's probably true. And then your low back area, the backside of your navel. I mean, that actually makes sense. You're processing things from the environment. Your awareness is on the back heart. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then the crown. So you can let it go now. So you could say in a way, like we went through and we kind of cleaned things up a little bit just to get the juices flowing. And then we targeted something in the environment. Doesn't necessarily have to be good or bad. It could just be a task at hand. Like you have some issue that you're working out with a friend or a family member, or you got to do something with the kids, or you have this project that you're doing, something at work, whatever it is. So on one level, you're harmonizing with it with this process that we just did, right? On another level, you're generating light or movement in the situation. So even if it's good, it's like it prevents it from going bad, right? Like it keeps it on the spiral of improvement rather than degeneration, right? If it's degenerating, it starts to pull you out of the downward spiral to get things moving in the proper way. So basically you're engaging the creative process, but you're engaging intuitive motion. Like you're engaging a movement and you're engaging the intuitive mind so that you can adjust and adapt as things are moving. A lot of times when things are stagnant, we're too much in our head. We're too much in logic. We're trying to figure it out. We're waiting for things to click. We're waiting for there to be, nothing going on so that we can move forward. Where with intuition, it's just like, let's do this dance. Like, I might get my knees scraped a little bit, but I'm still moving forward, right? So you're by going through and working the arms and legs the way that we did and activating the back heart, you're transmuting some of that. You're opening up the channel so that you can be present in the here and now. And then when we go up from the souls, Ming Men, back heart, crown, you're transmuting whatever energy is there that is potential issue, right? Then we did the materialization breath that then pounds more light into that. And then we went through and cleared it again. So you've generated intuition, you've generated light or movement, and you've also harmonized to a greater degree with that situation so that you can become more adaptive, more interactive. And so you can keep cycling through this loop if it's a project. And I'm curious, like we just have a couple of minutes. Channing, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Did you do your thing at work with this process, or did you do something else?
I did.
Yeah, how does
Was
it
it-
feel? I'm curious.
It definitely
you-
feels lighter. I feel more separated from the
And doesn't it feel
agitation.
like, okay, so you were feeling agitated before? Like the reason I'm calling on you is because like I knew it was like you're doing fine, but I knew you were having a difficult thing with.
Yeah.
And so like now, doesn't it feel more like it's just a problem like when a process or a piece of software doesn't work? It's just like the person acting a particular way. It's kind of almost has the same vibe. Like if you keep doing it, that's where you get to where
You know
hard to
what?
tell the difference between the computer and the person. It's just like a different problem. The
Right.
difference is that person might like you or not like you, but yeah.
You know what? I realize, yes, all of that actually is true. And one more thing, I am feeling really chilly.
Mm.
You know, like I feel cold.
Oh, you feel cold. I thought
Yeah.
you meant like chill.
Oh, no,
Um,
well, I wish.
That's a lot of times when you work the basic, like, and you shift the basic, that can happen for a little bit. And so,
Like temperature dropping in my
yeah,
body.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, both the basic and the solar plexus will make that drop. Yeah.
You know, I did get some clarity when we were going through that. First of all, it was a lot more calm,
Mhm.
but a little bit more mental clarity. And I'm
Good.
realizing where I make people uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but you also can't like, you need to be able to like fit in and get things done, but at the same time, you can't hold back for other people as well. Like it's walking a fine line. You know what I mean? It's like running to stand still, kind of, but uh sometimes it's just being like tactful, which takes a lot more energy than just blurting it out. But you can still do the things that you do. You just gotta be a little bit more tactful on the way that you say it or do it, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Green is very good. Like all the stuff we just did with the green,
Mhm.
the green healer, basil, all that stuff is very helpful in making us more tactful.
Green healer.
Green healer, basil, especially either the eucalyptus polybroch or radiata, the tea tree, all of that helps you be more tactful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you know, Greg, it's so interesting how of all the colors, green healer was sort of like low on my list.
Oh yeah. Like I'll tell you like a quick story. We got to jump over to a star. So,
Yeah.
like when I first went into pranic healing, there's the rings that people would use to manipulate their energy field. And I went up to Master Joe. I was like, Master Joe, what ring should I get? He was like, get a green tourmaline. I was like, nah, that's boring. Like, what about I want the one for clairvoyant? Like I'm going down the. So I got like 3 or 4 rings before I got the green stone. And when I got the green stone, I was just like, ugh, it feels so flipping good. Like it's like it was the ring that I wore the most. And like in my head, I was like, boring. It's just boring. But it really is like the ring that, that green energy. I mean, it initiates so much refinement and movement that how can you not use it? And so I would say you're probably feeling the same with the green healer. So